Hey everyone. So, the cryptocurrency space can get a bit tricky, and there's a lot of things to look at. But if you looked at speakers like Andreas Antonopoulos from the past, these are people that got into the game, the Bitcoin game, with the idea of, oh, I'm so excited about this technology. This is going to change everything. It's going to change the whole financial system, and it's the best hope. It's humanity's best hope as regards transforming the whole financial structure, the whole financial system, the rotten stuff that's happening within the financial system, quantitative easing and inflation that's happening. That it's very evident and clear, and we aren't willing to do anything about it. At least not in the political sense, because government can just print as much money as they want. So came along Bitcoin with the ability to solve the double spend problem with interesting game theory tokenomics or economic structures, deflationary tendency, immutability, security. Well, I mentioned solving the double spend problem and hopefully solving the blockchain trilemma and the Byzantine fault tolerance. So if there's players within that ecosystem that are trying to communicate with each other but aren't necessarily supposed to know of they don't know of what's happening on the other side, or they're not aware of the other party that's participating, they can perform a transaction between themselves without the knowledge, without necessarily having to know the other party, or without having to trust a third party, because a third party within there can be compromised. And that's the Byzantine fault tolerance, in short, in the most dumbest way I can explain it without first researching about it. So guys, came along Bitcoin, then came along Ethereum. Bitcoin came with that massive innovation. So don't be fooled that Bitcoin is just going to fade away, because as soon as it drops in price, someone else is going to buy up that stuff. Then came along Ethereum. Ethereum came with smart contracts. That was completely, it was like a whole new Bitcoin altogether, a whole new economy in the cryptocurrency space, a whole new way of looking at things. The ability to apply a programmability layer onto this ecosystem. Then came along, of course, there's many other cryptocurrencies that came up, as I've talked about in the previous video, but we're talking about those that have created a dent in the whole cryptocurrency space, at least as far as community development. And if you look at the criteria of the market capitalization, price times circulating supply, that simple metric that's used by most of these the platforms like CoinMarketCap, as you can see. Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP was up there. What problem did XRP solve? Or what problem were they trying to solve? These guys designed a ledger that's supposed to basically have IOUs in there, but then you have third parties in there, and these third parties, basically, if you create a token, this third party says that you can convert maybe your XRP into US dollars, and then that's an IOU that you have, and we promise that if you deposit that US dollars back, we'll give you back your XRP. And it's like there's a whole built-in decentralized exchange within the XRP ledger, and there's a lot of amazing stuff that it will do. And of course, there's a lot of grievances, and a lot of people do not like I guess the XRP ecosystem, because I think maybe a lot of people say centralized because Repo has a lot of the Repo tokens, but you can't refute the fact that it has the ability to really revamp the whole financial system, at least help the powers out there to be able to move their monies, to help central banks with their central bank digital currencies. This is not a political channel, political analogy. This is what's happening. This is what's going on. So regardless of what you feel about it, I think in terms of helping the central entities on how to move their money, Repo has the chance, the best chance, or at least it has the reputation, it has the technology that seemingly that might work for them. So then along the list, over time, this list kept changing, the market capitalization list. Then we look at things like Binance. Of course, I'm not going to mention all other tokens. Binance, what did they innovate? Why did the Binance token go up in price, and why did it go up in popularity? They did not innovate anything. They basically copied the Ethereum network and how it works. But what they innovated was that, hey, we're going to copy this same exact thing. You're going to have the ability to program decentralized finance, smart contracts within this ecosystem, but the fees are going to be extremely low and it's going to be extremely fast. So they brought in a project at the right time. The timing was perfect. When Ethereum fees during this bull run, Ethereum fees were way too high, $500, $700, $1,000 in Ethereum fees, depending on how complex the smart contract is, depending on how complex the number of steps involved in and the complexity in what you're trying to solve. So my point being in saying all that, when you're looking out for cryptocurrency, look out for, if you're here to make a quick buck, then obviously look out for the names that are being talked about over and over and over again. But the cryptocurrencies that have that longevity and that ability to really go exponentially in price because of a certain use case, those ones have a better chance if you're looking at a macro perspective as opposed to a micro perspective. So Binance solved that problem, and then so we have things like Solana out there. I'm not going to mention everything. Solana is trying to, it's also layer one solution that's really trying to, but what is it innovating exactly? That would be up to you to I've actually done a video about layer one blockchains. There's the FTX token. So we have the FTX exchange, which is basically trading the whole derivatives synthetics market space, and they've raised a ton of money. So you want to look out for stuff like that. They're valued at $18 billion currently. You ask yourself, why is that valuation there? Why are VCs interested in this? So if you go back to people like Andreas Antonopoulos and the fact that they went into Bitcoin and the whole blockchain space purely because they were interested and fascinated about this technology and what it can do, how it can revamp the whole financial system, they ended up not becoming maximalists because they did not put the cart before the horse. It wasn't the money first, it was the technology. And that's why if you've been listening to Andreas a lot, he understands that the future of this world will have a lot of tokens. And if you understand that every time you wake up, and depending on your timeline, wherever you are, when you sleep and wake up in the morning, understand there's a bunch of new cryptocurrencies that have been created somewhere in the world. So this is not going to stop. So I think one of the best ways to look at this space is that pay attention, keep paying attention, even if things don't look so good or if things look good, try to pay attention to the names that keep resonating and then that keep coming up over and over again. Then once you've heard those names, it depends on your interest. If you want to make a quick buck, you take the risk. But if you're looking at a long-term perspective and you're interested in the type of technology these companies are developing, then look into the technology and try to understand what are they trying to innovate. For example, if you look at, Polkadot, they're trying to solve interoperability. That has not yet been solved properly. But then when you look at things like Cosmos, I'm more inclined towards Cosmos, is that they've actually built technology that can solve this, both scalability and mostly the interoperability issue that we have on the blockchains. So if they successfully do that, then they'll have that first mover experience, so that first mover market effect when it comes to cryptocurrencies. So you want to keep an eye out on things like that. When you look at Ethereum scalability, you want to look at projects like Polygon-matic. I know there's other platforms or other concepts like optimism, but even Polygon-matic uses optimistic rollups as well, though they use I haven't looked too technically into them, but they use also the plasma. I think they use a plasma chain or plasma consensus algorithm. Don't quote me on that. So Polygon is I used to watch Polygon way back. They were one of the blockchains that started really trying to solve or tackle that layer 2 scalability. So whether you like it or not, they have that first mover advantage, and they also have the advantage that they have acceptability within the ecosystem. I think Optimism is trying to catch up because of its name. Maybe I don't know how decentralized it, but it looks like a name that a good brand name that doesn't seem too affiliated with individuals or teams or whatever. But Polygon-matic, I think, has that, and if it really solves this problem before Ethereum 2.0 comes up, it will have that network effect. So you want to look at projects that are trying to solve a particular problem. Now, there's things like Certic, the Certic network. I'm just sort of spewing out projects that have the Certic network. This is when you find a lot of smart contracts, especially in the Binance chain, that have been certified, their viability. So different companies look at these smart contracts and they determine whether these smart contracts are good, whether they're good for it, whether they're good for the money. So Certic is one of those companies. So you think about it and you're like, okay, in case the Binance chain is to blow up and maybe gain a certain level of adoptability because Ethereum is too expensive and maybe Asia, Africa, other continents, maybe South America, and certain parts of course, Europe and America. People that don't mind venturing out, especially if a product exists and it has low fees. Just imagine if the Binance Smart Chain really grew. So these platforms like PancakeSwap, like certain network that are really big on certifying smart contracts within the Binance chain ecosystem, then PancakeSwap, then things like PancakeSwap, because they have that first mover advantage in terms of revolutionary or developing DeFi on the Binance chain, they would have that first mover advantage. I've learned that first mover advantage is very important in the cryptocurrency space and the whole ecosystem. I don't know how many times I've said that word, but these are some of the metrics you want to look out for. There's just too many cryptocurrencies out there. On CoinMarketCap, it lists 11,050 right now, but we know the EOS blockchain. First of all, yeah, speaking about the EOS blockchain, those guys raised like over $4 billion. So it was like a lot of money, and they tended to forget about the blockchain. So I don't know if it will be successful in the future, but I think it's always the technology first. So Ethereum smart contracts, Binance chain, they came at the right time to solve scalability issues at the right time. You have, of course, XRP. I talked about them, the XRP ledger. So you want to look at those metrics. What problem is a blockchain trying to solve? Is it a real problem? Does it have proper network effects? You have Chainlink, it had the oracles, so it solved the oracle problem first, then the price came next. So those are some of the metrics you want to look at. So CoinMarketCap, 11,050 tokens that they're listing, but we all know there are other ecosystems that have tokens out there that are not even listed on CoinMarketCap. Cosmos has its own. EOS has a ton of tokens out there. There's many other. Binance chain itself has a lot of tokens that may not be listed here. All other layer one blockchains that are new or that have been around have their own ecosystems that are out there that are not listed. Some of Ethereum's tokens aren't listed here, and so there's a ton of tokens out there that are being created every day that are not even listed here, that already exist. Some of them are private, some of them are public. So you want to look out for what problem is being solved. And the other thing is to narrow down your search. You want to look at the names that keep popping up. Then some of the metrics you want to look at is it layer one or layer two? If it's layer two, what is it trying to solve and on what blockchain? If it's maybe Bitcoin, there's a Lightning network, but there's no tokens attached to that. So maybe you want to do some research in there. Something might pop up in there. With Ethereum, there's a scalability issue that layer twos may want to solve. Then with layer one solutions, that's a bit tricky because they're directly trying to compete with the Ethereum network, which becomes a bit tricky, especially if you don't have a solution that's already rolled out and ready to go. For if you're waiting for people to adopt it because they built it, I mean, yeah. So the whole point of this video is trying to narrow down our search in this cryptocurrency space. But the most important thing is to stick around. If there's anything you take out from this video, just stick around. Keep paying attention to the cryptocurrency space. Keep paying attention to what's going on, even if it means spending 5 minutes, 10 minutes every day just catching up with the news and what's going on. Read one article. That's the most important thing, because if this was easy, then everyone would be doing it. So yeah, guys, that's all I wanted to talk about today. I hope this wasn't too all over the place. I really hope you're able to take something out of it. It took me a bit of time to think about it, what I wanted to say. So it's not just a bunch of random spewed up stuff. It may be arranged in a random manner, but it's something that I've tried to think about because this space is growing way too big and sometimes it can become overwhelming. So look at your problem, look at the things that are important in this space. And then look out for one more thing in case you're still around. There's this video I watched by this guy called Colin Talks Crypto. So there's this guy called Richard Hart. He designed this token called Hex. I'm sure most of you know it, which has done, except I wasn't a fan, but it has done really exceptionally well in terms of the price. So you deposit onto an Ethereum contract and so on and so forth. So he's designed something else called Pulse, which basically takes they're taking a snapshot of the Ethereum blockchain and creating sort of a hard fork. So you sacrifice a bunch of tokens, and once that blockchain is released, you get a bunch of these tokens. I think for every token you sacrifice, say Bitcoin or BNB, whatever, you get like more than 10,000 tokens of this, because there'll be about a trillion circulating supply of this token. So I'll post the link of Colin Talks Crypto's video in the description. I'm not giving investment advice. I don't even think I'll participate. But if it's something that interests you, if you're a fan of Richard Hart, it's something, if you're into some quick gambling, if that's what you're into, or maybe the project might have some viability given that Hex was successful in its own way. Just a pointer out there. I'm not responsible for that. So if you decide to participate, that's on you guys. I just thought it's something, it might be something interesting that you might want to look into. So yeah, I'll put the link in the description in the video. So guys, that's all I wanted to talk about today. I really hope you picked something, and hope to see you on the next one, guys. Take care and have a good one. Bye-bye.